Love lives here.
So, here at Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide, we are working with the theme this year of timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. Another way of saying that is guided by vision, grounded in wisdom, or grounded in wisdom and guided by vision, however you want to phrase that. But that is the theme that we are working with here at Centers for Spiritual Living this year. Timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. And now we're into a new month. Oh, I forgot something. Oh, well, now we're into a new month. And so we are now working with a new theme called Pulled by Vision. We are pulled by vision. Last week we had a brief moment, or we had last month rather, we had a week where we talked about being pushed by pain and how when we continue to be pushed by pain until we awaken to our spiritual magnificence, and then we begin to awaken to our calling, awaken to our vision, and then we begin to be pulled by vision as we're continuing to do this clearing work. So this month we are talking about being pulled by vision. And before I go any further and forget any more, it is the first Sunday of the month. So if you were born in the month of July, I know, right? Happy birthday. Please stand. Happy birthday. We love you. Happy birthday to all of you. And if you have an anniversary in the month of July, we invite you also to go ahead and please stand. No July anniversaries? Okay, well, we know that love is love and it's everywhere present. So if people online are celebrating anniversary, happy anniversary to you. Okay, now back to our regularly scheduled program. Sorry. I can't let it be all about Dinah today, right? So, all right. Yeah. So, today we are looking at pulled by vision. We hold these truths. We hold these truths. So, the phrase, you might understand that it comes from a very important document for the United States, right? So, it comes from the Declaration of Independence, signed on July 4th, 1776. It comes from the preamble of that document of the Declaration of Independence. And it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The founding men of the country who wrote the Declaration of Independence, who also framed the Constitution, had a great and grand vision for what they wanted to see, for a world that they wanted to live in, for a country that they wanted to live in, for the pursuit of happiness, and knowing and resting and realizing that they wanted to experience life, they wanted to experience love, and they wanted to experience liberty, right? And the pursuit of happiness. That is what they wanted to experience. That was the high vision. That was the high idea. And so they began working toward doing that, and they weren't experiencing it at the time. So what did they do? They felt like they were experiencing oppression and injustices. So what did they do? They got together and they said, no more. We're going to do something different. We're going to create our own government. We're going to create a new government. We're going to create a new way of being on the planet, unlike any government that had ever been before. That is what they were about. Kudos to them. Yes? And it says here, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. What? And then let's think about what that word men meant in 1776. What that word men meant in 1976. Well, not that far off. So what that meant in 1776 was white men, and not only white men, but white male landowners. So only white men who had property, who had land, were included in this document. We holding these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But what we've come to realize today is that that word men no longer applies like it used to. In fact, we remove that, we change that, and we say that all people are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is what we have come to understand it today, but the reason that we've come to understand it today is because men and women have been working for years and years and years, and yes, more years, to begin to touch the hem of the garment that was laid out by these men in 1776. That the struggles that we've experienced throughout the years for enfranchisement for all has been long. And it was not just freely given. The Civil War, Juneteenth, reparations for Japanese Americans, still working on reparations for our indigenous peoples, still working on reparations, not even working on reparations, just beginning to cast the seed of idea for reparations for our brothers and sisters who are descended from enslaved Africans. Still working on that as a possibility. Still working on it as a possibility for those like myself who identify as LGBTQ+. Still working and still striving because each one has had a vision. Each one has had a larger vision of what the United States means, what freedom means, what freedom stands for, how we can participate equitably in this society. Each one has seen, each one has had a dream, each one has had a vision, and collectively we continue to work toward that vision. Are we there yet? No, we're not there yet. But are we further than where we used to be? Absolutely, we're further than where we used to be. But we have this opportunity to continue to move forward by seeing, catching the high idea, seeing and catching the high vision, and moving toward that vision. Allowing the vision itself to pull us toward it. To release those things that have been binding us, to release those things that have been holding us back, to release those things that have been placed in our way or that we have placed in our own way, and move forward into a new day, into a greater tomorrow, into a more perfect union. Union, unity, oneness. This is the truth of who we are. We know that there is only one. We know that there is only one life, one power, one presence, fully expressing and showing up as each and every person. That each one is one with the one. Each one is the divine emanation and impartation of spirit. Each one is the one life in full, glorious, magnificent, divine expression. That's what we know to be the truth. And so that's what helps pull us forward, calls us forward. So here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we too have a declaration. We have a declaration of principles that was written by Ernest Holmes in 1927. Here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we too have a vision. We have a global vision that came about through, some crazy little process that we call visioning, right? where we open to Spirit's highest idea of itself, expressing on the planet, expressing as each one and every one of us, that came through Spirit's highest idea. And so I invite our two newest practitioners, Dinah and Amber, to please come forward to the podium here with your things. And so I'm going to ask them to read. First, Dinah is going to share with you the Declaration of Principles for Centers for Spiritual Living.
We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. We believe that heaven is within us, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal Spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick and control of conditions through the power of this mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God.
So this declaration of principles then is the wisdom that we are grounded in, that informs the global vision. Amber.
Our global vision for Centers for Spiritual Living. We envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. We see a world in which every persons live in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision humanity awaking to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power, an ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all of life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. We envision a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, and a sense of belonging. A world of peace and harmony, enfranchisement and justice. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources. We envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is the norm. We envision a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love, through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation.
So this is our declaration of principles. And this is our global vision spoken. This is the global vision that we hold here at Centers for Spiritual Living, that we are being pulled by. It's right there. We envision a world that works for all. That really sums up that global vision. We envision a world that works for all. And that is the vision that we are being pulled by. That is what you've just heard. That's what you've just experienced, that this vision is pulling us forward. And as it is pulling us forward, it is incumbent upon us to be the vessel, to be available, to be the hands through which this vision comes into being. You see, here at Centers for Spiritual Living, we just don't pray and then forget about it. We pray and then we take action. In our parlance, we treat and then we move our feet. And how are we to then move our feet? Because sometimes we hear Ernest Holmes' The Sermon by the Sea. We have this quote that gets extracted and it says, be for something. Find me one person who is for something and against nothing. And so it's frequently used to say, you know what, I don't have to do anything because I'm not going to stand against anything. I just need to be for something. So I'm not going to look at the condition. I'm not going to look and see what's going on in the world. I'm just going to stay in my bubble and I'm going to stay right here and just think happy, positive thoughts and all will be well. But that's not what that phrase is about. What that phrase is a call to action. It is a call to direct the spiritual energy. It is a call to direct our mind, to direct our thought, to effect change. Because, we recognize, we don't deny a condition. We're not all like Pollyannas, like, la, 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 it doesn't exist, la, 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 right? It's not that. We don't deny a condition. We don't deny that something exists. We don't deny that there are societal problems. We don't deny that there are injustices. We don't deny those things. What we do deny is that they have power over us. Because once we recognize that there is just the one power, the one presence, and it lives, moves, breathes, and has its being in, through, and as each one of us, and that we can direct our mind, we can direct our thought, we can direct our consciousness in such a way that we can effect change, that is where we pray from. That's the place where we pray from. And then we take steps beyond that. We're called to take action beyond that to then make the difference, to then be the change, to then be the vessels through which, the hands through which, the lives through which, the vehicles through which Spirit manifests the vision, through which Spirit fulfills the vision, the high idea. Spirit can only do for us what it can do through us. So if I'm getting in my own way, or you're getting in your own way, or collectively we're getting in the way of Spirit wanting to express, it's going to find another way to express. Love will find another way to express. Freedom will find another way to express. Why not let it be through us? Why not let it be through each and every one of us? Because, when we do, we reap the benefit. Each individual reaps the benefit. And better yet, the collective reaps the benefit. We then are moving toward a world that is working for everyone and for all of creation. We hold these truths to be self-evident here at Centers for Spiritual Living. We hold these truths, that God is all there is. There is nothing else other than the one power, the one presence, the one infinite eternal. God is all there is. That is a truth that we know. Another truth that we know is that God is triune in nature, meaning there are three aspects to God. There are three parts of this one whole: Spirit, soul, and body. Spirit being the high idea, spirit being all, and then soul or law, the creative medium that knows how to create, that knows how to move things, that knows how to express things, and then form, body, the form itself. The form that you and I take, the form of us sitting here, the form of the planet, the form of the universe, is God in expression. All of it. Spirit, soul, body, spirit, law, or love, law, and body, love, law, and form. All of it is God. Another truth that we know. And so God being all that there is, then there is the macrocosm, which is God being all there is. Then each and every one of us too is made of the same substance, because there is nothing else for us to be made from. There is nothing else for us to be other than the divine, other than a projection, an emanation, and an impartation of the one life. Each of us is the divine made manifest. Hallelujah. Claim that, right? Each one of us is spirit, walking around, talking, waving, dancing. Each one of us is that life. And so what is true of the whole, what's true of the macrocosm, then is true of the microcosm. That we too can use our creative thought, use our creative mind to plant the seed of a new cause. To plant the idea, to speak the word. The first causation, to speak the word. God spoke the word upon the waters, right? Speak the word and have something new, a new idea, a new form, a new substance come forth, because we have had a new thought, a new idea, and we have spoken it. And so that is the other truth, the unalienable truth that we know, the self-evident truth. We recognize who we are. And we also, fourth, right, that this truth, this power, this energy, if you will, this love presence acting through law is amplified and activated by our faith, by our belief, by our trust, by our acceptance. And how do we do that? We do that through prayer. We do that through affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment here at Centers for Spiritual Living. That's how we do that. That's how we direct it. So we have the opportunity, my beloveds, to be called and pulled by the vision. Troward calls it the law of reciprocity, in that we catch the vision, we catch the high idea. We are open and we are receptive to the divine giver. We are receptive to the high idea. And we receive that high idea, as our principles speak, right? That anyone can be a revealer of truth who lives in close proximity with the one. That we receive this high idea in form, comes through our consciousness. We become aware of it. And so that high idea comes through as form, through you and I. And then we, as the microcosm, take that high idea, take that high vision, and it is then that which we return to Spirit through prayer. And in that case, it's the divine receiver, receiving the impress of our thoughts. But it is not my little idea. It is not Jeffrey's little idea that I'm sharing, that I'm trying to put into law, that I'm trying to plant that seed. The idea is the idea of Spirit. That which I've received from Spirit, I then return to Spirit. And this is the law of reciprocity. So you see it coming in, just like the V. You see it coming in, and then we see it returning. And so it is this then that the prayer then shifts. Not from just what Jeffrey wants, but it shifts to the high idea of Spirit itself. And it is that then that I am planting into the soil. It's that seed that then gets planted into the soil that then bears fruit. You with me? How that works? All right. So it's that law of reciprocity, using this idea of receiving the idea, being pulled by the vision, receiving the vision, being pulled by the vision, and then speaking the word, speaking the vision back into the law, for the law to then take it and fulfill it through and as each and every one of us. So you heard our global vision. You heard it. We've received the global vision. This global vision is a powerful vision. It's a powerful high idea already complete in the mind of the divine that is wanting to express, that is wanting to be fulfilled through each and every one of us. So first, we're going to take it into prayer. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you made your Independence Day resolution yet? Chuckle, chuckle. What? Independence Day resolution, what? Yeah? Independence Day resolution. Have you made it yet? I invite you this day, as you're celebrating, to really take this opportunity to also go into contemplative, quiet meditation and listen for what is yours to do. Listen for what injustice that's out there that you see, that you will work toward this year to eliminate, to change, to transmute it into the high vision of a world that works for everyone and all of creation. So this Independence Day, and every Independence Day hereforth, I invite you to make an Independence Day resolution of working toward justice, of working toward the high vision of a world that works for everyone in all of creation. So I invite our practitioners to now stand and surround the sanctuary. I also invite our core council members to join them in this. And Amber and Dinah, if you'd go ahead and come down front here. Right there is good. So as I mentioned, these beloveds are holding this community in prayer every day, and they are available for prayer. They're available for you. So let's come together in consciousness as we proclaim the vision. We claim it, we know it, we affirm the high idea, placing it into the law, placing it so that Spirit may bring it forth in greater, more full expression. I recognize right here and right now that there just is the one life, there is the one power, there is the one presence, there is the one infinite eternal. God is all that there is. There is nothing else opposed to it. There is nothing else it could be other than the one life, the one love, the one power, the one presence. It is peace that passes all understanding. It is a love, intelligence, a divine wisdom that brought forth through itself, of itself, all of life, all of creation. It is the one life forever expressing eternally, infinitely. It is life and life and life and life and life and life. It is the unity. And it is also the multiplicity within the unity. It is the totality of all that there is and so much more. And I recognize that I am one with this one, that the very who of who I am is the divine made manifest, because I could be nothing else. There is nothing else other than this one life, other than this one divine substance, other than this one love. So therefore, it has to be that I am that, and that each one is that. That all life is the divine emanation, impartation, a divine transparency for the divine. The divine made manifest is love incarnate, is life breathing itself into greater, fuller, more beautiful, magnificent expressions of itself. For we are truly one with the one. And so I speak my word here and now for this beloved community, here and now for Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, here and now for the world as a whole. I know and I affirm that all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. I know and affirm a world in which every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with one another, a world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. I affirm and know humanity awakens to its spiritual magnificence and discovers the creative power of thought, a world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create an individual life that works within a world that works for everyone. I know and affirm a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life, for there is only one. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. I know and affirm a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors, providing sustainable structures to further the emerging global consciousness. I affirm this here and now for this community, that each one of us takes personal responsibility and joining with that social consciousness. I affirm and know here and now a world where each and every person has enough food, a home, a sense of belonging, a world of peace, harmony, enfranchisement, and justice. I know and affirm a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources. I know and affirm a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustices, or debts, is absolutely the norm. And I know and affirm a world that is renewed by beauty, nature, and love through creativity, arts, and aesthetics. And I absolutely know and affirm a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. For there is only one life expressing here and now. And so I give thanks for this vision. I give thanks for this high idea. I give thanks for that call upon our lives, for the vision that is pulling us forward, that evolutionary vision of moving love forward. I give thanks for it now. And I give thanks for the consciousness present here this day. And I release this word into the law, knowing that it is fully done, knowing that it is absolutely complete, that it is absolutely so, because we have spoken the word upon the waters. The word has been heard, the word has been received, and so I turn it over to the action and activity of the law that makes it so. And together we affirm, and so it is.